The grizzly bear is one of the most powerful and dangerous wild animals on the planet. With its incredible strength and speed, it can attack unexpectedly and cause tremendous damage. Grizzly bear attacks sometimes occur in situations that are completely unexpected. Whether hunting or protecting territory, they always display decisiveness and unpredictable power. This video will provide you with an in-depth look at the unbelievable attacks of grizzly bears. Don't miss out and watch now to witness their strength. The bison, with its massive body and overwhelming strength, is always one of the most powerful animals on the plains. However, when facing the grizzly bear, a massive and brutal predator, their encounters become battles of intellect and strength, with no mercy. While the bison boasts a sturdy body and powerful charges, the grizzly bear does not easily relent, with brutal swipes and terrifying persistence. These battles are contests between two forces of nature where every strike and movement could change the outcome. All these elements combine to create intense clashes where both species' survival is tested to the limit.
He's going down the bank.
On the roadside, a grizzly bear slowly crosses the path. As it reaches the other side, it charges down the grassy slope toward a group of bison lying there. However, seeing the large number of bison, the grizzly bear backs off and abandons its attack. On the grassy hill, a bison spots the grizzly bear from a distance and immediately charges toward it. As the grizzly bear notices, it begins to run toward the bison, but quickly turns away upon seeing the bison's aggression. The chase ensues, but the grizzly runs faster, eventually cutting off and driving the bison away. On the roadside, two massive grizzly bears are threatening each other. Both bears roar loudly, displaying their teeth, unwilling to back down. Suddenly, they rise up and charge at each other. The two giant bears clash fiercely, biting and tearing at each other. Will they stop or will they continue to fight? On the sandy ground, a fierce battle for prey erupts between two North American giants. The predators clash with raw intensity. After moments of tense struggle, the weaker one is forced to retreat. Prize meal is left to its rival. On a treacherous cliff, a male grizzly suddenly charges to attack a mother grizzly and her two cubs. Without hesitation, the mother grizzly bravely retaliates, charging and biting fiercely to protect her young. In the fierce battle, one of the cubs tragically falls into the abyss. Despite being smaller, the mother grizzly remains undeterred, continuing to fight back. The wolf, the clever and cunning hunter of the wilderness, never fails to amaze when it dares to challenge the mighty grizzly. Clashes between swift wolf packs and a bear weighing hundreds of kilos are battles of brains against brawn. As wolves use sophisticated hunting tactics, closing in step by step, the grizzly responds with sheer rage and unmatched power. Every chase, growl, and head-on clash delivers breathtaking intensity. Viewers are not only captivated by the brutality, but also impressed by the survival instincts of both species. These incredible confrontations turn the wild into a grand stage for epic battles. On the grasslands, a grizzly bear strolls leisurely until it spots the carcass of a prey nearby. It approaches and quickly indulges in a free meal, while from a distance, a lone wolf keeps a sharp eye on it. Moments later, the wolf calls in the pack. They circle the grizzly, unsettling it. The entire pack rushes in, driving the bear away until it disappears into the forest. In the end, the wolves succeed in claiming the kill for themselves. Deep in the forest, a grizzly and a wolf pack fight over prey. The wolves snarl and threaten, but the bear stays calm and enduring. When the bear begins to walk away, the wolves mistake it for a move to steal the food and strike first. The grizzly remains silent, holding back. But when the pack suddenly returns and attacks again, the bear finally snaps. It lashes out, striking a wolf across the face. Terrified, the wolves scatter and are forced to retreat, leaving the grizzly victorious. By the riverbank, a wolf pack feasts on their prey when a grizzly approaches. The wolves immediately charge, launching a fierce attack and driving the bear away. It seems they have won, but the grizzly suddenly turns back and charges in again. In the end, faced with its overwhelming strength, the wolves are forced to surrender their meal to the giant. The bison, with its massive size and extraordinary strength, is one of the most powerful animals in the wild. Despite its gentle appearance, it is ready to defend its territory against any enemy, even a grizzly bear. The confrontations between bison and grizzly bears are always intense, as the bison's superior strength sometimes forces the grizzly bear to back down. Each strike is a battle with no mercy, where the grizzly bear tries to use its strength to dominate, while the bison uses its toughness and bravery to resist. These battles are not just stunning action scenes, but also a testament to resilience and fierce survival instincts in the wild. In Yellowstone National Park, a scene unfolds as a grizzly bear chases and attacks a bison. It relentlessly follows, biting and grabbing the prey. The grizzly bear drags the bison across a bridge and into the nearby river. The bison, suffering from the bear's bites, struggles to endure, but too exhausted, it is pushed into the water. The predator successfully brings it down and drags the bison's body to the shore to enjoy the spoils of the hunt. On the prairie, a herd of bison is trying to fend off a predator approaching a calf. A young bison calf has fallen behind and is within the grizzly bear's sights. In an instant, the predator attacks from behind. The grizzly bear grabs the calf and drags it away. By the time the mother bison returns, it is too late to save her calf. The wapiti, with its wide and majestic antlers, is always a symbol of strength and the beauty of the wild. But when facing the grizzly bear, one of the most dangerous predators, the wapiti is no longer an easy conquest. The encounters between these two species are full of tension, with each powerful thrust of the wapiti's antlers serving as a defiant resistance. The grizzly bear, with its superior strength, relentlessly attacks, creating life and death situations filled with drama. In those moments, the wapiti must display all its survival instincts to escape death. Each battle is a struggle between life and death, where only one of the two species can emerge victorious. And when it ends, only the traces of a haunting battle remain. In the vast lake, an aggressive grizzly bear attempts to swim after the wapiti. But the wapiti's large body gives it an advantage over the grizzly bear as it swims around the lake, teasing the predator. Every time the grizzly bear gets close, the wapiti changes direction, swimming further away. Gradually, the grizzly bear becomes exhausted and finally gives up, retreating to the shore, leaving the prey in the water. By the lake, a mother wapiti and her young are trapped at the edge of the water, facing the grizzly bear. The grizzly bear rushes forward, swiping its claws at the ground, causing the young elk to panic and run into its mother's arms. The wapiti, enraged, charges at the grizzly bear to chase it off. The two face each other, and seeing the grizzly bear unwilling to leave, the wapiti charges again, threatening the predator, causing it to retreat into the forest, leaving the mother and calf in peace. Caribou, with its long antlers and majestic appearance, is one of the strongest wild animals. They travel across vast and challenging lands, always on high alert. However, sometimes confrontations with grizzly bears turn into a life-or-death challenge. The grizzly bear, with its immense strength and terrifying speed, doesn't hesitate to charge into fierce battles with the caribou. These dramatic moments captivate viewers as the caribou uses all its strength to protect its life. Meanwhile, the grizzly bear, with its bravery and skill, doesn't let its opponent escape easily. This confrontation is a relentless battle between two of nature's most powerful species. Across the vast plains, the grizzly bear relentlessly chases the caribou herd. Every time it gets closer, the caribou immediately split up to avoid it. In the end, no matter how hard it tries, the grizzly bear cannot catch any of them, exhausted, watching them run away. On the endless prairie, the grizzly bear speeds through the lush green grass towards the caribou herd. Seeing the grizzly bear approaching, the caribou panic and scatter, forgetting that a young one has been left behind. It becomes the target of the grizzly bear, and in an instant, the prey is taken down. In the dense forests of North America, black bears, though smaller, are agile and extremely cunning, always finding ways to survive in harsh wilderness. When faced with a massive gray bear, encounters quickly turn dramatic and unbelievable. The black bear dodges and counters unexpectedly, creating tense mind games between two powerful predators. Every move, every strike carries life or death stakes, leaving viewers breathless with every moment. Despite being overpowered, the black bear demonstrates extraordinary intelligence and courage. These confrontations are not just survival battles. They are a testament to the skill and bravery of the black bear. All of this creates captivating, wild scenes that are hard to look away from. A male gray bear foraging near the water spots a female black bear and her cub on the hill. The moment it sees them, it charges, causing the mother and cub to panic and flee. They run quickly up the hill to a tall tree and climb it. Seeing the gray bear still following closely to protect her cub, the mother black bear slips, leaving the cub clinging to the high branches. After a while, the gray bear ambles away, leaving peace for the mother and cub. In the forest, a black bear clings to a tree, carefully observing below. After a long hesitation, apparently tired from holding on, it decides to climb down, but seems too frightened to move and stays alert. A gray bear in the forest roars, startling the black bear into scrambling back up the tree. The two stalk each other for a long while. The gray bear shows no intention of giving up, holding its ground at the base of the tree, while the black bear stays perched above to avoid attack. On a tree-covered hill, a gray bear foraging suddenly spots a black bear below, also searching for food. Immediately, the massive gray bear charges toward the black bear, scaring it into quickly climbing a tall tree. Both chase each other up the tree, but the black bear seems to be a better climber, leaving the gray bear below. Yet the gray bear refuses to give up. Will the black bear manage to escape? When grizzlies clash with their own kind, it is one of the most brutal scenes in the wild. During mating season or territorial disputes, massive males collide with overwhelming strength and ferocity. Roars, thunder, claws tear the ground, and every swipe and slam shakes the mountains. Despite weighing hundreds of kilos, they move with surprising speed, creating battles that are both savage and tragic. These fights are not just about power, but about deciding who rules the rich territory. Their raw intensity exposes the full force of wild grizzlies in a harsh world. The mountain goat, a master climber on steep cliffs, may seem outmatched by the colossal grizzly, yet their confrontations leave everyone stunned. When the bear relies on brute strength, the goat counters with agility and sharp horns in a fierce defense. On sheer mountain slopes, every daring leap and sudden strike turns the clash into a breathtaking chase. The stark difference in size and power makes these encounters even harder to believe, showcasing the goat's fierce survival skills in the wild. At times, the goat's grit and cleverness force the grizzly to back off, retreating from the treacherous cliffs. These moments create dramatic survival stories, full of intensity and wonder between two masters of the mountains. Grizzly spots a goat and clambers up the mountainside in pursuit. But with a split-second mistake, the bear allows its prey to escape, sprinting higher up the slope to safety. Slowly, a grizzly climbs down a sheer cliff, trying to reach two goats below. They stand face to face as the bear searches for a way down. It hovers directly above the goats but still can't find a path. The goats stomp in warning, trying to drive the bear away, yet it stubbornly refuses to leave. Finally, frustrated and defeated, the grizzly gives up and walks away. The bison, with its muscular body and incredible strength, is a symbol of resilience in the wild. However, when facing the grizzly bear, one of the most feared predators, everything becomes incredibly tense. The encounters between bison and grizzly bears are not only bloody battles, but also a clash between pure strength and determination. The bison, with its powerful horns and massive frame, fights back fiercely when attacked, but the grizzly bear is not easily deterred. Each charge from the bison is like a declaration of war, while the grizzly bear relentlessly attacks to assert its dominance. This battle brings heart-stopping moments where only one species can emerge victorious. The fight between these two powerful creatures leaves us in awe of their strength and survival instincts. On the other side of the road, a grizzly bear is slowly crossing the street. As soon as it reaches the other side, it rushes down a grassy hill where a bison is lying. However, seeing that the herd is larger, the grizzly bear decides to retreat from attacking. On the grassy hill, a bison spots the grizzly bear from afar and immediately charges toward it. As soon as the grizzly bear notices, it prepares to run toward the bison, but seeing the bison's aggression, quickly turns and flees. The two chase each other, but the grizzly bear is faster and eventually drives the bison away. The reindeer, a proud symbol of the icy north, stands out not only for its majestic stature and magnificent antlers, but also for its dramatic confrontations with grizzlies. When the bear charges with terrifying force, the reindeer fights back with fierce strikes of its antlers and swift movements across the thick snow. The bear's roars mix with the clash of antlers, creating a scene of survival that is both brutal and majestic. In this frozen land, every chase and every clash feels like a battle for life itself. The courage and unyielding will of the reindeer turn these encounters into unbelievable moments of the wild. On the prairie, a herd of reindeer grazes peacefully until a grizzly suddenly charges, throwing the herd into chaos. In the confusion, a young calf is seized by the bear, but with just a moment's lapse, the grizzly loses its grip. The calf scrambles free and dashes back into the herd, escaping the predator's jaws, while the bear is left watching in frustration. On a lush green meadow, a herd of reindeer grazes, unaware, as a grizzly emerges at the edge. Sensing danger, the reindeer immediately sound the alarm, sending the herd fleeing. The grizzly gives chase, but the herd escapes in time. Only one calf, left behind and disoriented, fails to run. The bear lunges, bringing it down and tearing into it, turning the helpless calf into its next meal. The wolf, a cunning and intelligent predator, has always been a symbol of teamwork and smart tactics in the wild. But when faced with the grizzly bear, a massive and powerful enemy, their encounters become filled with drama. Although wolves can hunt in packs, the grizzly bear, with its superior strength and unpredictable ferocity, forces the wolves to fight to defend their territory. The attacks and defenses between them are tense, as the wolves must use all their agility and teamwork to counter the grizzly's immense power. These confrontations are not only life or math battles, but also a testament to survival between two wild warriors, where every mistake could be the end. In Yellowstone National Park, a grizzly bear is busy burying its prey in a thick pile of snow. A pack of wolves, having caught the scent of the prey, gathers and attempts to approach the grizzly bear. Enraged, charges at them. The pack continues to grow, but facing the large, stubborn grizzly bear that refuses to leave, the wolves eventually give up and retreat together. In the forest, two wolves are enjoying their prey when a grizzly bear approaches. The wolves snarl and bare their teeth, trying to intimidate onto their prey and dragging it away. The wolves are struck by the grizzly's claws, causing them to flee in fear, abandoning their meal and retreating. Wolves, with their wild nature and incredible hunting coordination, are always resilient warriors in the natural world. Though much smaller than the grizzly bear, wolves fearlessly face these massive bears in intense battles. The encounters between wolves and grizzly bears are fierce and unforgiving, where wolves use their speed and the collective intelligence of the pack to find ways to deal with the grizzly bear's superior strength. Although the grizzly bear is powerful, wolves always know how to seize any opportunity to strike, making these confrontations incredibly dramatic and hard to believe. These encounters are a testament to the intense survival instincts and bravery in the wild. In the forest, a grizzly bear has discovered the carcass of a prey left behind by another animal. It approaches and begins to enjoy the meal prepared before it. Suddenly, from a distance, a pack of gray wolves, having caught the scent of the carcass, approaches. The wolves move closer to distract the grizzly bear and take over its meal. After several attempts to chase them off, the gray wolves, intimidated by the large and fearsome grizzly bear, are forced to run away, leaving the prey to the enemy. Two grizzly bears are resting after enjoying the meal they hunted down after a long day. From a distance, a pack of gray wolves approaches. Sensing the intruders, the two grizzly bears rise up to defend their meal. The gray wolves, outnumbering the bears, attempt to distract them, but because they are so small compared to the mighty bears, they struggle and fail to overcome them. In the end, the pack of wolves is forced to surrender to the giant foes and leave the meal behind. On the meadow, a grizzly bear spots two wolves from a distance. Immediately, it charges over to investigate, but suddenly a pack of wolves rushes toward the grizzly bear. They surround the bear, leaving it with no escape. The wolves taunt and attack, causing the grizzly bear to spin around in confusion, trying to defend itself. After a brief struggle, the grizzly bear decides to flee. Mountain goats are animals with extraordinary strength and the ability to scale steep cliffs, making them fierce warriors of the mountains. With their firm footing and quick agility, they can easily escape danger. However, when faced with powerful predators like the grizzly bear, mountain goats show no fear. The clashes between mountain goats and grizzly bears are tense battles, where the goat's speed and intelligence can challenge even the massive bears. Despite the grizzly bear's undeniable strength, it sometimes has to hesitate before the determination of the mountain goat. These moments are full of suspense and excitement as both animals fight for survival. These encounters are a vivid testament to resilience and survival instincts in the wild. On a high rocky slope, a grizzly bear is using all its strength to climb and chase a mountain goat. But with its climbing instincts, the mountain goat easily escapes, and the grizzly bear is left behind. A herd of mountain goats is climbing up a high slope when suddenly a grizzly bear spots them from below. The grizzly bear follows the slope in pursuit, but the mountain goats manage to escape and shake off the predator. Salmon, with their resilience and enduring strength, are among the most remarkable fish in the wild. Every season, they travel thousands of kilometers to return to their spawning grounds, but their journey is never easy. The encounters between salmon and grizzly bears during hunting are intense and dramatic battles. Salmon, with their strong survival instincts, are not easily caught. They swim fast and do whatever they can to escape the predator's attack. These life-or-death moments between salmon and grizzly bears will keep you on the edge of your seat. These fierce battles are not just struggles between species, but also trials of nature. By a stream, the grizzly bear stands at the headwaters, waiting for the salmon to swim past. It watches intently, even missing a few opportunities. In just a moment, the grizzly bear catches its first prey, happily placing it on a rock to enjoy. The grizzly bear quickly finishes eating and catches another one within seconds without expending much effort. Under the rushing stream, filled with white foam, a grizzly bear carefully watches below, waiting for its prey. The grizzly bear lowers its head into the water, and in the blink of an eye, it catches a salmon. Drags its catch to the shore, along with its 2 cubs to enjoy the meal. Under the water, a grizzly bear is focused on catching its prey. A salmon is quickly grabbed by the grizzly bear, which sits just beneath the water, enjoying the fresh catch with great satisfaction. In the deep forests of North America, confrontations between gray bears are always intense and dramatic. When 2 giant predators collide, overwhelming strength and survival instincts instantly erupt. Roars echo throughout the forest, while powerful swipes, agile blocks, and evasive maneuvers create a heart-pounding mind game. Neither yields, and every moment is a fierce survival battle. The courage, speed, and extraordinary endurance of each bear keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Every encounter delivers surprises, from rapid counterattacks to smart, strategic retreats. These battles are not only a testament to the gray bear's absolute power, but also a spectacular display of wild nature. The black bear, with its agility and remarkable intelligence, is one of the best survivors in the wild. Although smaller than the grizzly bear, it is not intimidated when faced with one. The encounters between these 2 bear species always bring dramatic moments. The black bear uses its agility and smart tactics to cope with the stronger grizzly bear. Their battles are not just a clash of strength, but also a competition of wit and experience. These confrontations make nature even more intense and captivating than ever before. Sometimes, victory depends not only on strength, but also on the ability to deceive and take advantage of the environment. In such battles, anything can happen. The male grizzly bear, foraging near the water's edge, spots a female black bear and her cub on the hill. As soon as it sees the 2 black bears, it immediately charges toward them, causing the mother and cub to run away in fear. They quickly climb up the hill to a tall tree, with the grizzly bear still close behind. The mother black bear slides down to protect her cub, leaving it perched high in the tree. After a while, the grizzly bear slowly retreats, leaving the 2 black bears in peace. In the forest, a black bear is trying to cling to a tree, keeping a watchful eye on what's below. After a long time, it seems tired from holding on and decides to climb down. However, it appears to be afraid of something and hesitates, staying vigilant. A grizzly bear calls out from the forest, causing the black bear to quickly climb back up the tree. The 2 engage in a back and forth for a while. The grizzly bear has no intention of letting the black bear go and stays at the base of the tree. while the black bear remains up high, avoiding the grizzly's attacks. On a hill covered with trees, the grizzly bear was foraging when it suddenly spotted a black bear foraging nearby. Immediately, the massive grizzly bear charged swiftly towards the black bear, causing it to panic and quickly climb a tall tree to escape. The two chased each other up the tree, but the black bear seemed to be better at climbing, leaving the grizzly bear behind. However, the grizzly bear refused to give up. Will the black bear manage to escape? The wolf, with its agility and sharp hunting instincts, is always a feared predator in the wild. However, when it faces the grizzly bear, a powerful and authoritative creature, everything becomes incredibly tense. The battles between wolves and grizzly bears are not only bloody battles, but also a clash between pure strength and determination. The wolf, despite its speed and cunning, still faces powerful attacks from the grizzly bear. Both species are relentless, and every movement could decide life or death. These encounters are fierce challenges that even the strongest creatures must be cautious of. A life or death struggle where every strategy and strength is pushed to its limit. In Yellowstone National Park, a grizzly bear is busy burying its freshly caught prey in the thick snow. A pack of wolves sense the prey and moves in. They try to approach, but the grizzly bear, angered, charges toward them. As the wolves grow in number, they face the massive, stubborn grizzly bear that refuses to leave. Eventually, the wolves give up and retreat together. In the woods, a grizzly bear discovers a carcass left behind by another creature. It approaches and begins to feast on the meal set before it. Suddenly, from a distance, a pack of wolves, having picked up the scent of the carcass, approaches. The wolves try to distract the grizzly bear to claim the meal for themselves. After several attempts, the wolves, intimidated by the grizzly bear's massive and fearsome size, retreat, leaving the prey to their enemy with regret. The black bear, although smaller than the grizzly bear, possesses incredible strength and agility. This bear species is not afraid of challenges, and when facing the grizzly bear, they demonstrate courage and clever tactics that leave everyone in awe. The battles between black bears and grizzly bears are always intense, as despite being smaller in size, the black bears use their speed and intelligence to counter the powerful enemy. The grizzly bear, with its superior strength, sometimes has to face the unexpected and impressive strategies of the black bear. These encounters between the two bear species are epic showdowns that keep viewers glued to the screen, full of drama and emotion. In a forest, a grizzly bear and a black bear are having a territorial dispute between two massive creatures. Both sides charge at each other, biting and clawing, neither one willing to back down, as this is a battle to assert their dominance. Which side will emerge victorious? In the forest, a grizzly bear is wandering, searching for food. As it walks, it spots a black bear and immediately chases after it. The black bear, frightened, climbs a nearby tall tree and successfully escapes from the grizzly bear. The elk, with its tall stature and majestic antlers, is one of the most powerful and resilient creatures in the wild. However, when facing the grizzly bear, a brutal and powerful predator, the battles become incredibly intense. The elk not only relies on speed to escape, but also uses its sharp antlers as a weapon of defense. Nevertheless, the grizzly bear's strength, with powerful swipes and ferocity in every attack, forces the elk to fight for its life. These encounters are not just a test of survival, but also an intense showdown between two natural warriors. We can't take our eyes off the powerful collisions, where every strike and every sprint can determine life or death. On the hillside, a grizzly bear runs quickly down the hill, its target being the elk below. When it gets close to its prey, the bear suddenly stops to observe. The massive presence of the grizzly bear catches the attention of the elk, but they remain calm and continue to stand there. After a moment, the grizzly bear runs down the slope, moving quickly toward the herd of elk, causing them to scatter in panic and flee. When the grizzly bear gets closer, the elk all run away. On the mountainside, a male elk faces the giant grizzly bear. As soon as the elk turns its back and begins to leave, the predator charges, but a steep mountain path causes the grizzly to fall, allowing the elk to jump into the river and escape, although the grizzly follows immediately after. On the meadow, a herd of elk seems to be fleeing from some attacker, their eyes scanning the area warily. Suddenly, a grizzly bear charges toward them, causing them to scatter in panic. But with its heavy body, the bear can't keep up and eventually gives up, leaving the elk behind. The elk, with its massive size and thick fur, is one of the most powerful and majestic wild creatures. They not only stand out with their pristine beauty, but also with extraordinary strength in life and death confrontations. However, when facing the grizzly bear, this elk must confront unprecedented challenges. The grizzly bear, with its agility and terrifying strength, launches a surprise attack, forcing the elk to fight for its life. These confrontations are intense, with each punch and charge full of determination. Meanwhile, the elk must use all its skills and strength to overcome the fierce predator. This battle is a relentless struggle between two powerful forces of nature. At the river in Yellowstone, the grizzly bear chases the elk, causing it to panic. It quickly catches up with the prey, biting into the elk's back, causing it to cry out in pain. The grizzly bear continues to apply pressure, slowly overpowering the elk as it sinks into the water. Once the prey is lifeless, the grizzly bear drags it onto the shore and begins to feast. By the riverbank, a grizzly bear is greedily devouring the prey on the land, undisturbed by the surrounding crows, still savoring the fresh meat of its victim. On the other side of the riverbank, the grizzly bear continues relentlessly chasing a young elk. With its frail body and the predator's determined pursuit, after a while, the elk begins to slow down, exhausted, giving the grizzly bear the opportunity to close the gap and catch its prey. Across the vast forest plains, massive and agile elk move cautiously to avoid danger. When the gray bear appears, the peaceful scene instantly turns into a tense survival arena. Spectacular chases unfold as the elk use extraordinary strength and speed to dodge the bear's powerful strikes. Every sprint, every thrust of the elk is a desperate effort to protect its life. These face-offs leave viewers breathless, syncing with the heartbeat of the wild. The gray bear is powerful, but the elk are smart and courageous, creating unbelievable battles. These confrontations are not just survival struggles, they showcase the elk's strength and remarkable resilience in the deep forest. On a hillside, a grizzly bear sprints down fast, targeting the elk below. As it nears its prey, it pauses to observe. The imposing presence of the grizzly catches the elk's attention, yet they remain calm, standing their ground. Moments later, the grizzly races along the hillside toward the elk herd, scattering them in panic. By the time the bear reaches them, the herd has fled entirely. In the meadow, a herd of elk migrating together encounters a gray bear in pursuit. The entire herd panics and flees as the bear gives chase. One young elk, unfortunately, is caught, despite its desperate attempts to escape and fight back. On the grasslands, a herd of elk seems to be fleeing from some predator. their eyes scanning the surroundings warily. Suddenly, a grizzly bear charges from nowhere, sending them into a panicked stampede. But with its heavy body, the bear cannot keep up and eventually gives up, retreating. The deer, with its gentle and graceful appearance, is often known as a calm animal, but don't let its frail exterior fool you. When faced with a grizzly bear, these deer can display unexpected strength and incredible courage. The encounters between deer and grizzly bears are not just territorial disputes, but life and death battles where every movement could determine survival. Although deer are easy prey for grizzlies, they can still find ways to escape or even counterattack cleverly. Each battle between them is intense, making nature even more dramatic and captivating. In the forest, a mother deer is caring for her newborn fawn. Suddenly, there's a noise, and a grizzly bear appears, making the mother deer panic. Wanting to protect her fawn, she tries to run, but being too weak, she cannot get her fawn to escape. In the end, she runs away, leaving the fawn behind. The grizzly bear charges forward, tearing into and finishing off its prey. In a lush green meadow, a grizzly bear is foraging. Nearby, 2 deer are feeding, and as soon as the grizzly bear approaches, the deer notice and quickly flee. The grizzly bear misses its chance and turns away, leaving. The mountain goat, a master climber on steep cliffs, may seem outmatched by the colossal grizzly, yet their confrontations leave everyone stunned. When the bear relies on brute strength, the goat counters with agility and sharp horns in a fierce defense. On sheer mountain slopes, every daring leap and sudden strike turns the clash into a breathtaking chase. The stark difference in size and power makes these encounters even harder to believe, showcasing the goat's fierce survival skills in the wild. At times, the goat's grit and cleverness force the grizzly to back off, retreating from the treacherous cliffs. These moments create dramatic survival stories, full of intensity and wonder between 2 masters of the mountains. The grizzly spots a goat and clambers up the mountainside in pursuit. But with a split-second mistake, the bear allows its prey to escape, sprinting higher up the slope to safety. Slowly, a grizzly climbs down a sheer cliff, trying to reach 2 goats below. They stand face to face as the bear searches for a way down. It hovers directly above the goats but still can't find a path. The goats stomp in warning, trying to drive the bear away, yet it stubbornly refuses to leave. Finally, frustrated and defeated, the grizzly gives up and walks away. The elk, with its majestic appearance and superior strength, is one of the most formidable wild animals. However, when faced with a grizzly bear, these elk not only rely on their strength, but also on agility and smart tactics to protect their lives. Encounters between elk and grizzly bears are always intense battles, where every movement is crucial. Although the grizzly bear possesses overwhelming strength, the elk is not easily defeated. They can use the environment to escape or counterattack. These moments are not only a fight for survival, but also a symbol of strength and resilience in the wild. On the plain, a herd of elk is migrating when they encounter a grizzly bear chasing them. The entire herd panics and runs when the grizzly bear chases after them. One young elk, unfortunately, is caught despite its efforts to escape and fight back. In Yellowstone National Park, a grizzly bear is chasing a herd of elk. The entire herd panics and tries to escape. However, the grizzly bear seems slower than the elk, and in the end it lets them escape, not catching any prey. At Grand Teton National Park, an encounter occurs between the elk herd and the grizzly bear. The grizzly bear is accompanied by 2 cubs, but it doesn't seem to intend to attack the elk herd. In the deep forest, cunning and courageous wolves always hunt in packs, their sharp eyes tracking every movement around them. But when they encounter a gray bear, a massive predator with overwhelming strength, every ordinary hunt instantly turns into an unbelievable, high-stakes confrontation. The wolves crouch, strike unexpectedly, and dodge the bear's powerful swipes, creating heart-stopping survival moments that keep viewers glued to this wild, unpredictable scene. These encounters are not just survival battles. They also showcase the wolves' extraordinary intelligence, agility, and bravery. By the riverbank, a gray bear is thoroughly enjoying its prey when a hungry wolf approaches to cause trouble. The wolf tries to sneak closer, but the bear's sharp gaze immediately locks onto it, sending the wolf retreating in fear. As it turns to leave, the wolf realizes the gray bear is charging after it. It tries to resist, but quickly flees. In the forest, a gray bear and a pack of wolves compete over a single prey. The wolves growl continuously, threatening the bear, yet it remains calm and patient. When the bear starts to leave, the wolves think it's trying to steal their meal and lunge, but the gray bear stays silent. Finally, as the pack moves away, the bear approaches the leftover prey, only for the wolves to suddenly attack again, provoking the bear into a furious counterattack that slaps one of the wolves in the face. Terrified, the wolves are forced to retreat. The moose, with its stunning antlers and graceful appearance, is often seen as a symbol of elegance in the wild. However, when facing the grizzly bear, the encounters become dramatic life-or-death struggles. Despite its agility and cunning, the moose cannot easily escape the brutality and overwhelming power of the grizzly. The battles between these two species are tense, with the moose utilizing its speed and survival instincts to dodge the grizzly's powerful strikes. At the same time, the grizzly bear continuously shows its superior strength and patience, always waiting for the chance to strike down its prey. Each encounter is a life-or-death challenge where every moment could shift the course of the battle. In the vast lake, a fierce grizzly bear tries to swim after the moose. However, the moose, with its larger body, has an advantage over the grizzly, swimming around the lake, teasing the predator. Each time the grizzly gets closer, the moose changes direction, swimming further away. Gradually, the grizzly bear becomes exhausted and gives up, leaving the prey standing in the water. A large grizzly bear casually walks through the forest when it encounters a moose. However, it doesn't seem to have any intention of attacking. The two just look at each other before moving on. By the lake, a mother moose and her calf are trapped at the shore, facing the grizzly bear. The grizzly charges, slashing at the ground with its claws, causing the calf to run to its mother in fear. The moose, angrily, charges toward the grizzly to chase it away. The two face each other, and seeing that the grizzly bear won't leave, the moose threatens it, causing the predator to flee into the forest, leaving peace for the mother and her calf. The bison, a mighty symbol of the prairie, with its massive frame and sharp horns, is always ready for battles of life and death. When faced with a colossal grizzly, their clashes become more intense than anyone could imagine. The bear unleashes brutal power and ferocity, while the bison refuses to back down, countering with crushing charges and the full weight of its body. Roars echo, dust and rocks fly, and every impact shakes the land itself. The confrontation between these two titans is not only violent, but also a stunning display of wild beauty and raw survival instincts on the open plains. Each battle is both savage and tragic, leaving witnesses breathless. Such unforgiving struggles turn the prairie into nature's grand arena. On a grassy hill, a grizzly intrudes into a bison herd's territory and is immediately driven off by their combined force. But soon after, the bear returns, striking back and throwing the herd into chaos. The calf falls behind and quickly becomes its target. The grizzly drags it down and hauls it uphill. One brave adult bison charges in, knocking the bear over in an attempt to save the calf, but it's too late. Heartbroken, it has no choice but to retreat to the herd. On another hill, a mother bison has just given birth to her calf. Before she can even rest, she must run with her newborn as a coyote pursues them. A grizzly appears, chasing off the coyote and trying to approach, but the mother stays fiercely protective, refusing to let the intruder near. Though only minutes old, the calf clings tightly to her, matching every stride. Together they dash along the lakeshore, narrowly escaping the grizzly's pursuit. In the Lamar Valley of Yellowstone National Park, a bison spots a grizzly bear in the distant meadow. Without hesitation, the bison charges toward the bear. The grizzly stares for a few moments, then quickly bolts uphill, leaving the bison behind. In the icy stream, salmon begin their arduous journey upstream to spawn. They leap onto rocks and swim through rushing waters, all under the watchful eyes of the massive gray bear. Each salmon jump could turn into a staggering confrontation with the predator's overwhelming power. The gray bear strikes quickly and forcefully, but the salmon are agile, evading with astonishing skill. These life and death moments are tense and spectacular, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. Every minor battle showcases the salmon's endurance and extraordinary will. These encounters are not just survival struggles, they are breathtaking displays of wild nature. By a stream, a gray bear stands at the headwaters, waiting for salmon to pass, watching intently despite missing a few catches. In just moments, the bear snags its first prey, happily placing it on a rock to savor the catch. It quickly devours the meal and captures another within seconds, effortlessly. Under the foaming, fast-flowing water, a gray bear watches intently from the bank, waiting for its prey. Lowering its head into the stream, in a split second, it grabs a salmon and carries it ashore to enjoy with its two cubs. Under the water, a gray bear focuses intently on catching its prey. The salmon is quickly snatched up and the bear sits right in the stream, enjoying the fresh catch with delight. The moose, with its massive antlers and regal appearance, is a symbol of strength and pride in nature. However, when facing the grizzly bear, one of the deadliest predators, they must fight not only with strength, but also with agility and speed. The encounters between moose and grizzly bears are full of drama, where every strike and every reaction can change the course of the battle. Although the grizzly bear is powerful and relentless, the moose demonstrates extraordinary courage, sometimes creating unbelievable moments. These are life or math struggles that take your breath away, leaving anyone in awe of the moose's resilience. By the river, a grizzly bear attacks a moose. It chases the prey into the fast-moving water, and the moose tries to wade and escape. But the grizzly bear grabs it tightly, preventing its escape. The grizzly uses its massive body to clamp down on the moose's head and neck, submerging it to wear it down. Eventually, the moose succumbs and is dragged to the shore by the grizzly bear. By the lake, a moose rests on the shore. From a distance, a grizzly bear appears, and the moose, sensing danger, prepares to leave. But as they face each other, the moose runs and the grizzly bear quickly chases after. However, the prey manages to escape. The elk, with its majestic appearance and superior strength, is one of the most formidable wild animals. However, when faced with a grizzly bear, these elk not only rely on their strength, but also on agility and smart tactics to protect their lives. Encounters between elk and grizzly bears are always intense battles, where every movement is crucial. Although the grizzly bear possesses overwhelming strength, the elk is not easily defeated. They can use the environment to escape or counterattack. These moments are not only a fight for survival, but also a symbol of strength and resilience in the wild. On the plain, a herd of elk is migrating when they encounter a grizzly bear chasing them. The entire herd panics and runs when the grizzly bear chases after them. One young elk, unfortunately, is caught despite its efforts to escape and fight back. In Yellowstone National Park, a grizzly bear is chasing a herd of elk. The entire herd panics and tries to escape. However, the grizzly bear seems slower than the elk, and in the end it lets them escape, not catching any prey. At Grand Teton National Park, an encounter occurs between the elk herd and the grizzly bear. The grizzly bear is accompanied by 2 cubs, but it doesn't seem to intend to attack the elk herd. The black bear, although smaller than the grizzly bear, possesses incredible strength and agility. This bear species is not afraid of challenges, and when facing the grizzly bear, they demonstrate courage and clever tactics that leave everyone in awe. The battles between black bears and grizzly bears are always intense, as despite being smaller in size, the black bears use their speed and intelligence to counter the powerful enemy. The grizzly bear, with its superior strength, sometimes has to face the unexpected and impressive strategies of the black bear. These encounters between the 2 bear species are epic showdowns that keep viewers glued to the screen, full of drama and emotion. In a forest, a grizzly bear and a black bear are having a territorial dispute between 2 massive creatures. Both sides charge at each other, biting and clawing, neither one willing to back down, as this is a battle to assert their dominance. Which side will emerge victorious? In the forest, a grizzly bear is wandering, searching for food. As it walks, it spots a black bear and immediately chases after it. The black bear, frightened, climbs a nearby tall tree and successfully escapes from the grizzly bear. The black bear, with its agility and remarkable intelligence, is one of the best survivors in the wild. Although smaller than the grizzly bear, it is not intimidated when faced with one. The encounters between these 2 bear species always bring dramatic moments. The black bear uses its agility and smart tactics to cope with the stronger grizzly bear. Their battles are not just a clash of strength, but also a competition of wit and experience. These confrontations make nature even more intense and captivating than ever before. Sometimes, victory depends not only on strength, but also on the ability to deceive and take advantage of the environment. In such battles, anything can happen. The male grizzly bear, foraging near the water's edge, spots a female black bear and her cub on the hill. As soon as it sees the 2 black bears, it immediately charges toward them, causing the mother and cub to run away in fear. They quickly climb up the hill to a tall tree, with the grizzly bear still close behind. The mother black bear slides down to protect her cub, leaving it perched high in the tree. After a while, the grizzly bear slowly retreats, leaving the 2 black bears in peace. In the forest, a black bear is trying to cling to a tree, keeping a watchful eye on what's below. After a long time, it seems tired from holding on and decides to climb down. However, it appears to be afraid of something and hesitates, staying vigilant. A grizzly bear calls out from the forest, causing the black bear to quickly climb back up the tree. The 2 engage in a back and forth for a while. The grizzly bear has no intention of letting the black bear go and stays at the base of the tree, while the black bear remains up high, avoiding the grizzly's attacks. On a hill covered with trees, the grizzly bear was foraging when it suddenly spotted a black bear foraging nearby. Immediately, the massive grizzly bear charged swiftly towards the black bear, causing it to panic and quickly climb a tall tree to escape. The two chased each other up the tree, but the black bear seemed to be better at climbing, leaving the grizzly bear behind. However, the grizzly bear refused to give up. Will the black bear manage to escape? The mountain lion, one of the most mysterious and legendary big cats, stands out for its speed and cunning in hunting. With incredible strength, they can face most foes in the wild, but when confronted with a grizzly bear, everything changes. The grizzly bear, with its massive size and brutal strength, is an opponent that even the mountain lion must be wary of. The encounters between these two species are breathtaking battles, where each species' survival instincts are fully displayed. The mountain lion, with its ability to target and strike swiftly, seems to make the grizzly bear step back. However, the grizzly bear is not easily defeated, with its superior strength and resilience in every confrontation. These encounters are a testament to the harsh wild life where only the strongest survive. The mountain lion wandered down the slope, its eyes glancing back as if something was following it. After descending the slope, the mountain lion stood quietly looking up at the hill, when suddenly a grizzly bear appeared, lurking under the trees. The mountain lion calmly observed before lying down to rest. But as soon as it lay down, the grizzly bear immediately moved towards the slope, causing the mountain lion to panic and flee. A mother mountain lion was playing with her cubs at the top of the mountain when it seemed to catch the scent of an intruder. Immediately, the mountain lion moved her cubs to a safe spot and turned to face the massive grizzly bear that was approaching, ready to protect her young. The two animals clashed in an attack under the fearful gaze of the mountain lion cubs, growling and threatening each other, until finally, the grizzly bear walked away, leaving peace for the mountain lion and her cubs. The unbelievable attacks from the grizzly bear truly make it hard to take our eyes off the screen. If you enjoy thrilling moments from the wild, don't forget to check out the video and discover even more amazing action scenes.